Welcome back to Maximum News. I'm your host, as always, your friendly neighborhood Simpsons kin, Max Derrat.
And I am Sybsidian, a future spaceship.
And in your... Wait, I thought you were an AI. Well, I guess an AI on a spaceship.
Yeah, that is exactly what that's for.
Just
and
like
I
how.
may or may not have, orbit to surface nuclear missiles or something like that. It's really not. You don't have to worry about that.
Yeah,
the news.
Just don't mess with them. All right, news. In case you guys were wondering which of the two things we were going to be talking about, China or Activision Blizzard, because that just seems to be like the rotating topic every other episode. We're talking about China off the bat this week. No Activision Blizzard, I guess. Fortunately, unfortunately, whatever you want to take that. So there's this service in China that I just learned about after reading this article called Bilibili. And apparently in China, it's sort of like their government-sanctioned version of Twitch. It's like where people stream a whole bunch of different games. As a result of China's increasing crackdown on video games, the medium that they consider to be the spiritual opium of the masses, they have now banned 70 games, over 70 games from the Bilibili service. I'm going to read some of the games that they banned. Some of them are FPS games or games with firearms in general. These include the GTA series, Grand Theft Auto, Battlefield series, and Rainbow Six Siege. Games with horror elements, that'd be Resident Evil, Dead by Daylight, and the game Visage, or Visage, however you want to pronounce it. It's the indie game. Let's see, various games from different genres. There's this one game called Detention, which obviously comes from Taiwan, so they can't have that. Plague Inc. Never heard of that one. World of Tanks.
Are you serious?
No, I've never heard of it, actually.
Oh, okay. So Plague Inc. is this great game where you design a virus and then see if the virus can wipe out humanity.
Well, no wonder they banned it then.
It was actually banned from it was like shadow banned from a lot of like search engines and stuff like that after the thing hit. So yeah, it's very interesting. And for a while we were using it as it was kind of like a code word. But yeah, they cracked down on that.
Too many people in China making that like their own variation of super COVID and having it originate from their country. Yeah, I get it. World of Tanks and The Witcher 3. What kind of special version of evil do you have to be to ban The Witcher 3 from your country?
Well, there is some light nudity in that, and then there's also ideals that they don't necessarily agree with, and this
sex on unicorns.
I warned CDPR a while ago not to bank on China. Like if you can make it in there, great, fine, do it. But if you're like tailoring your stuff for them, you will eventually be making like cookie cutter approved by government agency games, and they will not allow you to do anything different or unique. You will have to stick to a very, very rigid list of things that you can and cannot do. And if the minute that you stray out of that, you will come down. Now, obviously, this isn't like a huge, nationwide ban, but this just goes to show that you're not dealing with fairness inclined people. You're dealing with people who have an agenda, and they will make sure that agenda happens. Period.
Once you bring, sorry,
yeah.
Oh, okay.
No, that's it. Like that's period. That you don't get to debate that. That's it.
Once you bring Chinese money into your company's overall bottom line, getting rid of them on account of their unethical behavior becomes very, very difficult. So once you give them that inch, almost immediately after, they'll continuously take more and more miles. Finally, a bunch of visual novels got banned. Basically, any visual novel...
We can't have literature. No. That would just not be cool.
Unless it's appropriate for all ages. So whatever the Chinese version of Green Eggs and Ham, if there's a visual novel for that, I'm sure they'll be fine. And then one last thing. Apparently Genshin Impact, depending on who you talk to, it was going to be removed, but the people who made that game are self-regulating so they can keep their Chinese money, their dirty, dirty Chinese money. And they're giving female characters in that game alternate costumes. Don't play that game, please.
Yeah, I was like I liked Genshin when it first came out, as far as the generalized concept and the fact that the thing ran on a phone. Like, that was amazing. But like, you know, and they started out, their tagline for the company is "Otaku save the world." They were very much enamored with Japanese culture, Japanese video games. They liked Japanese anime. I've seen screenshots and like, not screenshots, but like photos of their office, like inside their office. It's like a Japanese nerds, like, you know, Nirvana. It's really cool. But more and more you can see their overlords stepping in saying, no, you can't do this, you can't do that. Oh, this character, her chest is a little too big, you gotta bring it down by, you know, size and a half, and stuff like that just keeps on coming and keeps on coming and keeps on coming. And again, sure, it's like, do you want to protect the children? That's great, that's fine, but you're also destroying art and somebody's concept of art. You're taking something and you're trying to force it into the ideals that you want for it. And we used to call that colonization, when you take somebody else's culture, or when you take somebody else's like generalized concept of a creative thing that they're doing. It's coming through fairly naturally. You know, maybe it's influenced by a couple of different things, but then you're like, no. We need to change what you naturally created post creation, and we need to edit it to fit the ideals that we stand for. Again, that's colonization, essentially. Yeah. Colonialism, whatever you want to call it. It's abusing somebody's stuff. And here we are seeing this. Now, again, it's a little bit of a weirder situation, because it is like, you know, Japanese fan otakus in China making games that are reminiscent of a Chinese style way of doing things. But you could also say that's just an Asian style too. So, yeah. But yeah, this is the beginning of the end for them, I think. Not necessarily like them as a company. As I've mentioned before with Tencent, right, a lot of these video game companies, they want out. They want out. They know that they are not going to be able to create games that they want to staying there. They have, like, as it is currently, and this will get into another story that we get to, a lot of these studios have to fly by night, as in like they're picking up, they're moving offices, they're rotating their servers, because they're just trying to stay ahead of the tax man, the person. And I don't mean that they're dodging taxes. I mean that they're dodging this like control. And by juggling these companies, you know, 1 week you're working for, whatever company name it is, then the next day, 2 weeks, 3 weeks later, they've rebranded and they've been bought out by somebody else. And they're playing basically merry-go-round, and they're trying to stay ahead of the censors, who are, government. So it's a little bit slower, and they're coming up behind them, and they're like, we're going to catch you eventually. That's what's led to a lot of this stuff, not just in video games, but also in the film industry over there too. Film and music industry has been hit really hard. They forced a bunch of actors to get in front of a screen and say, "Oh yes, we were overpaid. We are too popular. You, our fans, need to listen to the government more, because the government knows everything, and we are paid way too much. So we're giving a whole bunch of our money to the government, which they're not giving to the government. They're giving to the one party." Party there, and then they're spending it on things that they want to spend that on. So yeah, it's like, if you're in the art industry in China, get out, find some way to get out. And that's what I keep hearing from these companies. Like Tencent is investing more and more in the American markets, and more of their offices are staying stateside. And in this case, I railed against this when Sony did this in Japan. They just kind of moved a lot of their stuff out. But like, this is not an act of like, being greedy, which that thing was here, and we've seen a lot of bad decisions coming out of that. But in China, it's a matter of survival. So
yeah, it's just business 101. Like once the government starts putting these types of overbroad limits on your ability to produce art, it's not like it's just going to go gradually. People are going to react as intensely as they do when something happens on the stock market, right? People just start going in the exact opposite direction. And it seems like the more like days go by, more stuff like this just happens in China and more people are trying to get out. So if, like what you said, Syb, if you're in China right now and you're dealing with this, it's only going to get worse. And before you know it, it'll be worse than you could possibly imagine. So please get out and and
I say this to the Chinese censors and controllers. It's like I don't hate China. I like the Chinese people just fine.
Of course.
You have to understand that censorship never works the way you think it is. Mm-hmm. And everybody who's tried that in the last, in all of history, pretty much, the only time that you manage to control censors is when people were running around in little village huts, having little to no, connection with the outside. Right. But even then, things shifted and changed. And we can see that throughout history. If you want modern history, just look at what Japan tried to do with adult content-ish of a cartoonish nature.
Yeah.
It's like, you can try, but all you end up doing is driving it and making it more interesting, making people more restrained, and eventually that results in an outward expressionism explosion. It happens eventually. You look at the sex movement in the 1960s in the States, and you can compare that to like what happened beforehand. It's like, you can't beat this. Even countries that are ruthlessly in control, they eventually break, and when they do, everything goes. And it's like, if you think you can beat human nature, like, I laugh at you hilariously. It's like, if you want to retain some level of control, then you have to allow some room for people to grow.
Yeah. I did not know that actually Japan tried to get rid of that stuff. That's funny.
How
naive.
It's so the censors came in Japan, tried really hard to shut it down, and then they came up with all these rules. They said, you can't do this, and you can't show that, and you can't do this. And a bunch of clever people sat back and said, oh, okay, so we can't show that, but can we show that happening with a squid? Well, the censor said, it's not in the rules, and they're like, okay then. So
right.
Yeah, that's how that happened, and now it is 10% of their GDP.
Yeah. Oh.
As in, now again, you roll your eyes and you're like, oh, gross. I laugh because I know the numbers and the math, and that is, if you were to try and cut out anything that's 10% of your GDP out of your country, you'll crash your economy.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Like that's why there's certain companies create a solution to a problem, and then when they actually have like a permanent solution to the problem come along, they go, no. We don't want that, because we have a temporary stopgap solution to this problem, and this makes us way more money than if we were to solve this overnight. Because if we solved this overnight, 10% of our economy would disappear, and that's just not good for anybody. So we're just going to make the problem stick around. It's really disgusting.
And even then, they didn't get rid of it. Yeah, trying to get rid of that sort of stuff from Japan is like trying to get rid of white from snow. It can't be done. All right, well, just quickly, while we're still on the subject of China, Sai, can you explain to me this whole Asmongold thing?
Yeah, so I saw this morning. This isn't huge news, but this is, and it's not just Asmongold. It's Markiplier and PewDiePie and a bunch of other like big name streamers.
Gotcha.
Ninja and all these other people. I started to look into this morning, and because I'm sitting there watching a YouTube video this morning, pulled up a thing to check out some news and info, and here's Asmongold reacting to a really cheap garbage asset flip mobile phone an ad. And he's even got goofy graphics going on that make him look like he really loves it, but then it clips out from that, and it's, you could tell that it's like a day late, it's a different time, he's wearing a different shirt, and he's doing this again where he's like really happy, and it's like, oh, these people, like, and so I looked it up. No, he did not sign an agreement or anything. This is these companies that are all based in China, just so you know, are using likenesses of famous top end streamers to put on their game, faking them reviewing the game and liking it. And this is so dirty, but I looked it up, and this is a really prevalent problem. Like, this happens a lot. Markiplier and a whole bunch of other people were having this done to them too. And it's like these guys don't have teams of lawyers to go after people internationally to stop this.
Right.
And apparently YouTube doesn't care that they're putting up a bunch of ads by a company that's committing an illegal crime. And they're actually like helping that along by not scrutinizing this stuff at all. Mm-hmm. Oh, I see you have, Ninja and who's one of the other, who's that big female streamer that everybody's always
Pokemon
about? Alinity. It's like, why is Alinity and a Ninja here apparently like promoting your game? Can you guys show me the agreement that you have with them? Or hey, let's just shoot a message to these guys. Hey, dear, Ninja, are you currently advertising this game? And they'll probably realize that no, this is not. These are people scamming and stealing assets. Now, again, this has been going on for a while, and it's really bad. And normally, a good defense, which is what I thought we were getting when YouTube said, we're going to make sure the ads are better in the future. I can't tell you how many scams I get on my phone, like how many dirty scams, like some of the worst of those, some really bad scams for charities that show up on YouTube. It's like, oh yes, please send us money. We're going to do great things with your money. Just send us money. And they're all targeted. Like, they're targeted at particular, ideologies. They're targeted at particular like things. You'll have like, I seen a fake one for a fake pet rescue shelter thing. There was a YouTuber who did a breakdown on the video, showed that these people were actually putting these animals into harm's way first, and then creating a video of them, air quotes, saving the animal. And then they're like, oh, send us money to help us continue to save animals. And it's just a fraud. It's a fraud. And it's like, this stuff has been going on YouTube constantly. So this is a bit of a PSA. It's also a bit of like a heads up. Like, obviously, I think most people who listen to our show are really smart on this. But like, oh, yeah, you're going to have to start looking at YouTube ads, and just ads in general, because there's no control over this stuff, apparently. Like, this stuff is getting through constantly. Like how many times have I seen an ad coming forward where it's like, hey, we can cure your cancer? It's like, no, you can't. Like, not with your what is it, crushed, like I think the one I saw was like some kind of crushed like rock or sand that you were digesting.
Whoa. Wait, what?
It might have been seashell. Yeah, it might have been seashell.
And they said it would cure cancer?
And it's like, well, they alluded to it strongly.
Oh my god!
They're like, oh, our ancient ancestors used to use this. It's like, I've done a lot of study into history. Like, I've done a lot of study into history. I can tell you for sure that there were very few people who ever consumed seashell on the regular. But these people put it into a powder. They're like, oh yeah, I just drink this. It's like this stuff is so terrible. Anyways, it's I found it interesting because it's not just affecting, the snake oil salesmen have always been around, but now we're seeing them, take the likenesses of people that we have on, on Twitch and Twitter and YouTube and stuff like that, and they're using them as a ghoulish mask or costume where they cut out the person's likeness and go, oh yeah, I support this. So yeah, it's really disturbing and gross, and I encourage everybody to, again, always make sure that you're actually using the right products for the right situation. And again, this is a reminder that, again, pretty much every single phone game out there is garbage, is total trash, is horrible. So yeah, keep your eye out on that.
The only one that I can think of that was worth people's time and like genuinely being a good game was this one called Pascal's Wager. That it's sort of like a Dark Souls type game on your phone. It didn't actually have a lot of that microtransaction crap, but that's the only one. So yeah.
No, there are games that are designed, that I have a card game on a particular card game on my phone, and it doesn't have any ads. It's just an open source like thing that a bunch of people worked on and managed to put together, and it's like yeah, those aren't the phone games that I'm talking about. The phone games I'm talking about are, we all know those ones where
Candy
it's like
Crush.
it's an asset flip. I mean, even Candy Crush is at least slightly more professional. These other companies, it's like they steal the likeness from existing video games. It's like, hey, this character looks exactly like Jinx from Arcane. Exactly like Jinx from Arcane. Did you guys license this? No. How is Apple and Google letting you put this garbage up on their advertisements and their storefront?
Because if
like,
they
how do you have that?
They lose that business with China because they're so temperamental, those people over there. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So, guys, okay. Let's just move beyond this. Let's move to some not necessarily bad news. This is, I guess, this could be interpreted as good news. So we've known for a little while that Twisted Metal is coming back. Last time we talked about how a new TV series was coming out. I'm not sure who's hosting it. I Showcase HBO. I can't remember. I just know it's being led by Anthony Mackie. Same guy who plays Falcon in the Marvel movies. And he's going to be playing John Doe. What we did know is that a game was going to be releasing around the same time that TV series is coming out, which is in 2023, I believe. So it looks like, weirdly enough, the Twisted Metal reboot is being moved over to a new developer. It was originally being worked on by the people at Lucid. And if you guys don't know who they are, they're the ones behind Destruction All-Stars. And now it's being moved to a UK-based studio named Firesprite. And here's some of the interesting things. These studios both of these studios, Firesprite and Lucid, are both located in the UK. And they're located about 15 minutes away from each other. The director of the MotorStorm games, I only played the first one. I do remember having fun with it. The director of those games, Matt Southern, he moved from Lucid to Firesprite, along with a whole bunch of other employees from Lucid. Firesprite appears to be getting this job. This is just speculation, but it appears to be the case because Destruction All-Stars wasn't received very positively when it came out. Which is a shame, and it's actually kind of worrying because if you look at Destruction All-Stars and you compare it to Twisted Metal, you see a lot of similarities. And if they mess it up with Destruction All-Stars, then they might mess up Twisted Metal, which means devaluing the property that Sony owns. So they moved it over to Firesprite, got the guy behind MotorStorm to direct it. Firesprite is currently working on multiple projects, including the recently announced Horizon Call of the Mountain. That's the PSVR 2 game. And yeah, it's being released alongside the new series. This, I consider it good news because Sony sort of appraised the situation. Like, okay, we're not getting this game to a level of quality that we sort of expect for a Twisted Metal game. Because, Twisted Metal Black is one of the all-time most beloved games. And the PS3 one, even though it wasn't great, a lot of people really did like it. And they really want to bring this back with this property back with a vengeance, especially with the release of the new TV show. So I'm glad that they're being honest with their current circumstances and chose the new studio. So do you interpret it as positively as I do?
Well, I think so. Sometimes studios get into a bad, the development hell / they get into a rut. It doesn't necessarily mean that the leadership and the people are bad. It's just for whatever reason, the thing that they're trying to work on is not coming together.
Right.
So sometimes putting it off into somebody else's hand is the best thing you can do, because it also allows the other company to, like, you know, get their head on straight and try something different when it comes to, you know, when it comes to making things better, right? For themselves too. And so it's not always bad when a company loses a thing and somebody else takes it over. Sometimes that's a good sign. Sometimes it is a bad sign. Sometimes you do get a long period of time where that IP doesn't, you know, work. So yeah, there's a lot of that, and you have to kind of like cross your finger and you hope that those things don't happen regularly.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think in this case, probably decent. Let's hope so, because it's a good series and it needs to do well. So
I'd love to play a new Twisted Metal game, man. I unfortunately didn't play Twisted Metal Black or the one on the PS3. The last time I played a Twisted Metal game was when Blockbuster was still around, and I was renting Twisted Metal 3 and 4 from them, and had some great memories. If they can bring that vehicular combat back in a way that was as addictive as it was back in the PS1, I'm all for it. And yeah, this news does make me... It doesn't make me pessimistic. If it does for you guys, just keep in mind what Saib just said. This sort of thing really isn't that uncommon. It should be, but it's not. And it happens to the best developers. Best example I can think of is Hideo Kojima. He originally was working on a game called Metal Gear Solid Rising, and that game actually entered development hell around the time that he was also working on Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker. And so they took that game and gave it over to Platinum Games, the guys behind Bayonetta and Nier, and it turned into Metal Gear Rising Revengeance, and that game was awesome. So just have some faith. I'm sure things are going to work out just fine. All right, let's move on to this next one. Troy Baker was trending on Twitter, and I apparently had something to do with NFTs. I don't really know much beyond that. Saib,
yeah. So this is why avoid trying to like make heroes out of celebrities, especially celebrities that are grown and this pretty much the standard way that they are. People who are chosen that come up through trenches and stuff like that, they tend to be a little bit more grounded. But the big people out there, and this guy has definitely been one for a while. And again, I've never liked him. I've never trusted him. And I've always felt that given the opportunity, he would, of course, sell you out down the river because he could. If he could legitimately get something out of it, he would. And lo and behold, Troy Baker is selling NFTs, ladies and gentlemen. NFTs. He's selling NFTs of his voice doing things, and he's so excited for it. And you should come by and buy one of his amazing lines that are, of course, it's not like he's doing this like a $5, hey, you want me to say happy birthday to your dad? Okay, cool. I'll do it. Here, $45, that kind of stuff. That's been going on for a long time. It's funny. It's like we used to go to these conventions where we could talk to these actors and stuff like that and be like, hey, we want to set up a thing where you do this. Can you do that? And they're like, yeah, sure. It's like this much money. And we're like, cool, great. There wasn't anything like shady going on here, but this is, and it was more direct too, because again, you could get something customized for yourself. I know a guy who got, the guy who did, not Spock, of course, he passed away, but the guy who did, who was it? Some other role, some role in Star Trek. I want to say it was the Vulcan on Voyager, but I don't think that's right. I think it was somebody else. But I remember him saying like, hey, can you do my voicemail? Like the greeting on my voicemail, and they got him to do it. And then later on, the guy who did I can't remember his name for some odd reason. He did it on Community. He was like, here's a freebie for all the people named this name. And he's like, this so-and-so is with me flying around the galaxy on a starship. And it's like getting stuff like that. That's cool. That's great.
Yeah.
Sure. That's personal. And a lot of these actors, not all of them, but some of these actors will do that. You know, you really like a voice actor who does some voices for your favorite anime. You see them at a convention, and you're in line to get like a signature or whatever. You'd be like, hey, can you do my can you do a voice thing for my thing? They'll say, in most cases, they'll say yes. And well, I mean, there's usually a fee with it, but in most cases they'll say yes because they need money too. But that's the thing is like these guys are small fries, right?
Right.
I don't think you could do that with Troy Baker.
No, he's too.
But
huge.
now Troy Baker is selling you stuff. He's selling you lines, things that he says in video games, and you can buy those. And again, it's the same voice line. It's the same thing that's being copied, but it has a special ID code on the file. And that special ID code on the file is allowing you to claim ownership of that line, except, of course, the fact that it's not, a unique line. It is just a mass-produced line. And this hit him hard. He came out with this, and he got rickety wrecked on Twitter for doing this, and he is now trying to backtrack a little bit. He's trying to play the nice game, and I've got to say, is like, again, I don't fault small time actors who do this kind of personal stuff where you want me to say this, you want me to say that. There was a guy who got a voice actor to say something, and then he turned it around really nasty and targeted it at a group of people, targeted at a person that I knew personally, and just did it was really terrible. And the guy was really upset. He was really upset that he got roped into doing something that turned out to be a personal attack. And he was really upset with himself. He was upset. He started to not take those jobs anymore. But at the same time, this is not a famous actor who lives in a multi-million-dollar home. This is a guy who lives in a $100,000 home in Europe and does
it because it's his passion.
Yeah, he does it because it's his passion and his job, and he's got to make bills and that kind of stuff. And he's not rich, so I don't throw any shade at those people doing those kinds of stuff, because that's kind of what they have to do. But Troy Baker setting up an NFT system so that he can sell clips of his voice saying something, and then sell that same clip 1 million times to 1 million different people. But, they have a little code that makes it different. It's like, yeah, you get what you deserve, buddy. Mm-hmm. So these people are not your friends. They're not here to protect you. They're not here to keep you safe. Just bear that in mind.
Yeah.
It's kind of disgusting.
I'm pretty disappointed. I never... all I've really known about Troy Baker is that he's in everything, and the impression that I got was that he's in everything for a reason. Like all the stuff that I've ever seen him in, he's been really good. Like he was great in Death Stranding.
He's a decent voice actor who can decently do some pretty good motion cap stuff, but he mostly just got lucky. That's I hate to say it, but there's a lot of these voice actors who got into early video game stuff and are still around these days. They got in because they managed to get in, and they managed to be able to work well with these companies, and then they just got more jobs because they knew people. Because people leave this studio, that studio, they move to a different studio. They have them on DMs or something like that, and they're like, "Hey, want to pitch for this project?" And that's what happens a lot. Again, I've been in the acting thing I was in the acting thing for a long time. Yes, my voice is out there as a voice actor. Mm-hmm. I know about this stuff, and I know that there's a lot of luck when it comes to getting big in that industry.
No doubt. I'm just saying, when it comes to the stuff that he has done, I've actually been quite a big fan of it. This, though, just learning about this morning, it does make me feel disappointed, and it does make me lean towards your perception of him as sort of not being on the side of the gamers, but being more so on the side of just promoting his personal image and trying to get as much money as he can. And hopefully what happens is he sort of takes the message in the same way that the guys behind Stalker 2 did when they're like, okay, no, I'm not going to do this. It's probably better for my personal brand if I don't. But something tells me it's probably not going to happen. But we'll see. Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah.
All right. Take-Two bought out Farmville?
Take-Two bought out Zynga, the creators of Farmville, for $11.04 billion.
What? For real? What's it? Okay.
Everybody remembers a couple of years ago when Microsoft bought out Bethesda and all of the Bethesda catalog of companies, almost a dozen studios. They bought them out for $8 billion. Well, Take-Two bought out Zynga for 12. Put that in your head.
Here's another thing to add on top of that. Didn't Disney buy the entire Star Wars franchise for $4 billion?
Yep.
Yeah, so 3 times that for Farmville. So I don't want to live on this planet anymore.
It's not just Farmville, but yeah, it's like Farmville and a bunch of other on-the-go gaming things. And again, it's this is just, I mean, the total acquisition is $12.7 billion. Once you count in like shares and accessing shares and that kind of stuff like that. It's insane.
What the hell?
This is insane.
Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, what was made?
I just I'm trying to look up this, like, what other games besides Farmville have they made?
What have they made? Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, it's. I mean, I can't even tell you. It's a lot of like garbage, like, we were talking about it earlier.
I got it here.
Asset flips stuff.
Yeah, Mafia Wars, Wizard of Oz slot machine, Game of Thrones slot machine, Cityville.
Yeah.
Okay, I got it. Now it makes sense.
Yeah, like I said, it's asset flipping, not actual like games. Like anybody who tries to tell me that AFK Arena is a skill based game, I will laugh at you, sir. I will laugh at you. There are some mobile games that are skill based. I like Mech Arena is this one game that came up during the Game Awards as an advertisement, and I play Mech Arena, and I'm going to do a video on it probably eventually. Why do I play Mech Arena? Well, I'll cover that in the video. It's not because I think it's the greatest mech game there is. The sad fact, which is what I'll cover in the video, is that it is the only new polished mech game that has come out at all in the last like 5-6 years. It's really quite depressing. Like, it's extremely depressing. I am a huge fan of mech games. I love mech games. I grew up on them. They're my favorite thing in the whole world. And it's not that I just played this one. I tried the Mech Warrior Online MMO. I tried the newest Mech Warrior Mercenaries, and then I tried this game. I tried another phone mech game, and that happened to also be on the PC. They're all garbage.
Yeah.
They're well, not garbage. They all have garbage things about them. I should make that clear. They have some good things. The Mech Warrior Mercenaries obviously has a good story. It has the real lore. It has a lot of the actual mechs. It's got a lot of really cool stuff about it, but it is terribly made, poorly polished, can't play the game. It's just not good, and it's sad because it is like that. The Mech Warrior Online game, sad. And then the 2 mobile games, sad because of the things that come with mobile games. And it's just a reminder that, like, it's like there's no skill behind a lot of these games that this Zynga makes. Mm-hmm. And that worries me for the future of gaming. Now, I'm not as worried about Take-Two because, frankly, I hope this blows up in their face and they lose everything. That would just be really, really cool. Yeah. I really hope that this will come back to them in the best possible way. Couldn't happen to nicer people,
dude.
And yeah, obviously, like, this is kind of funny, but at the same time, as far as like gaming goes, this is really sad and extremely worrying for where this is going to go in the future. Like, I'm serious. I'm really worried about this in the future. What kind of game? And I've been saying this is not a new thing. Me and tons of other people have been saying this for years. It's like, this is not healthy for gaming. This is bad. The fact that such an iconic game concept, such as the mech game concept, is the only place you can find a competent mech game is on a mobile phone made by a mobile phone company. It's the same people who make that stupid Raid Shadow Legends. It's like, this is bad for gaming. This is bad for gaming that there's like, news just came out today of the top like earning video game CEOs in the world. Guess what? Bobby Kotick is still up there as one of the top earners in his entire industry. Mm-hmm. Still, after everything that's happened, he's still up there. All the other ones, are they like people like Microsoft? No Microsoft, no Todd Howard, no. All of the people that are in the top 10 list, I think, they're all backed by these stupid mobile games. Like AFK Arena. What do you get out of that? You pick your favorite heroes and then you don't play the game.
Yeah, it's just a mindless. Yeah,
it's getting real bad.
Well, I don't get the feeling really that what's going to happen with Take-Two is sort of the same thing that happened with what game did I just have on the brain? Well, I just imagine what's going to happen is, like, having bought them out, they're going to transfer all their money over to that, and then when GTA 6 comes out and inevitably disappoints everybody, then they're just going to be like one of those companies that sits on all these popular IPs and then just uses them for mobile gaming. And any chance of any proper games in those franchises happening again just fall to the wayside. And then they go...
Yeah, I hope...
Go ahead.
I hope it crashes and burns. I really do. I really hope I don't think that we're going to get another video game crash like we had, in the 80s.
Yeah.
But I think we should hope for one to like happen at some point to clean out this absolute garbage, this absolute trash, this absolute disgusting, fetid BS.
Yeah, I agree, man. Well, with that sad story out of the way, let's conclude on something a little bit positive. Let's talk about a game that was actually really damn good, Titanfall 2. I unfortunately didn't play a whole lot of it back when it came out. I don't really...
You can't play it anymore!
Well, no, that's the original Titanfall. I'm talking about Titanfall 2. Technically...
I mean, you can't play Titanfall 2 right now either because of the hackers.
Yeah, good point. I should probably talk about that as well. So Titanfall 2, really good game. I did play a bit of it, and for a game that's like, it's got to be like 5 years old now, it's still pretty damn good. Mm-hmm. But unfortunately, because the makers of that game, Respawn, have put all their time and attention into Apex Legends, the maintenance of Titanfall 2's online servers have been subject to a lot of DDoS attacks and hackers, and they're not inclined to do anything about it because compared to Apex Legends, Titanfall 2 is like a drop in a bucket, and it's a shame because that game is so goddamn good. Well, in order to fix that problem for the people that are huge fans of Titanfall 2, there's this mod that came out called North Star. This is according to PC Gamer. It allows people to bypass Titanfall 2's official EA servers and use their own custom servers. So this is good, even though it doesn't necessarily prevent people from hacking into those custom-made servers. It does make it a little bit more difficult to seek them out and do that. Plus, it's more so, like, I imagine, in case you guys don't remember this, the people that are hacking those servers, they're doing it to spite EA because of how they have treated Titanfall. And they're also the same type of people that hacked Apex, telling them to as a way of protesting the fact that they weren't treating Titanfall, the franchise, properly. So
the way I understood it is that there are some people who are doing that, but the majority of the hackers basically have hacked in and turned Titanfall 2 into their own personal playground. And they only allow in poorly, just the worst players imaginable, so that they can just wreck them constantly. Again, and if you kill one of the hackers, you will immediately be permanently banned from the game. And again, this is hackers banning you playing on an EA server, and then EA will do nothing about getting you your game access back, because they don't actually control the game, because the servers are completely run and dominated by hackers right now. Again, that's what I heard. I don't know if it's improved or changed at all, but that's what I heard about a year ago.
Great. Now I'm depressed.
Yeah. No. This is good. If you can bypass those servers and create your own, then gaming groups and servers and friends can finally get back to actually playing and having fun. That's I hope that's what happens. But as far as just in general, this is EA sacrificing, one of their best IPs, one of the most underrated IPs, one of the most not profited IPs, because they kept on releasing it just in the worst possible way. And then they just sat back and goes, well, it's not making any money for us anymore, so I guess we'll just remove people's ability to play it, because, that's the thing that you do when you're EA and you're all about the money. Vile people.
Yeah. This is what we have to do now in order to be able to play some of these games that are no longer getting supported. Is you have to create your own servers in order to play on them, because we don't really own these games anymore. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But good point. Even though that was the situation, this is a good step forward. It does allow people that really love the game to be able to play it in peace. Not so sure about the console players though, but people on PC, absolutely. And hopefully, that it'd be kind of weird though if EA is like, no, we can't accept this, because then this just makes us look bad. It makes it seem like we don't care about Titanfall 2. Well, everybody knows that you don't, so might as well just leave it be, right? So, this is some good news pieces today. It's not like past shows where it's all just bad news. So let's just try to focus on that. Plus, keep in mind that the coming month we're getting a lot of really good games. In February, we're getting Dying Light 2, which we're hoping is good. Hopefully, it's not as bloated as everybody's.
So Dying Light 2, I would pre-order it the day or 5 hours before the game comes out. I would not hold your breath on that one. There's been a lot of issues with it. Now, I'm not going to be surprised if it goes either way. I'm really not, because
they've had extra time to do it. Let's hope it's like a Halo Infinite situation,
right?
Yeah.
So my fingers are crossed. I'm going to hope for the best. I hope that it's good. I really wish that they had put in a third-person camera into this stuff, but again, because they've never done third-person, it's not like I'm holding that against them. I just wish that I could play the game. You're going to be playing that, and I believe Ash is going to be playing that a fair bit. So that's interesting. That's going to be cool.
Yeah, and aside from that,
I think it's a great concept. I just really wish it was to have a third-person.
Yeah, because in case you guys forgot, from a past show, Syb just has some trouble playing some first-person games, and understandably so. I do sometimes with my motion sickness. But aside from Dying Light 2, keep in mind that there are other games that are coming out in February that are pretty safe bets to be pretty damn good games. Horizon Forbidden West, Total War Warhammer, and of course Elden Ring. And try to stay focused on that.
Also Lost Ark. So Lost Ark's coming out actually in the same week or the same time frame, I guess you could say, as Dying Light 2. I'm going to give Lost Ark a try because it's free to play. Because it's run by Amazon, I'm not holding my breath.
Right.
I think they'll probably somehow manage to screw that up. Again, I'm not holding my breath on any of these titles. Like the Elden Ring, I'm really hoping that they get that done right. But again, it's like we've been lied to so much. We've had so much. There's been so much failure.
Yeah.
It's
made us jaded, even with people that we love, like From Software.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. But yeah, just try to keep it try to stay positive, guys. There is good reason to have hope for the months to come and those particular games. And we will absolutely cover all those games, both on Maximum News and outside of Maximum News, on my channel and on the Triple S League. So anyways, that's it for this episode of Maximum News, guys. Thanks so much for tuning in. Remember to hit the like button, share, and comment on this video. When you do that, it tells the YouTube algorithm that not only this video is worth watching, but all the other videos on this channel are worth watching. So please do that. It's free, easy, and it helps us out a lot. I want to thank Syb, as always, for his lovely insight and for his enthusiasm that he brings to the show. Syb, do you want to just tell people about the Triple S League and how they can find it?
Yeah, check out our main channel. We're going to be doing a lot of guides. We've got the podcast is coming back. The live podcast is coming back. We're going to be bringing that back on Wednesday. And then sooner or later here, we are going to get back started up on Saturday with some live games. We're going to be hitting up a lot of these games in just a few weeks. Let us know, where you want, if you want us to try and focus on what titles and whatnot. We've got a lot of them coming up, and so hit us up, watch the stuff, and then if you're interested, you can hop in the Discord and we can play some Stolen Realms, because that is a seriously underrated game right now. It's not the best, it's not an amazing game, but it's very cheap and it's very fun.
Watch everybody in the comment section after this video just write play AFK Arena live on stream.
Yeah, play AFK Arena live on stream. You know how all those streamers have been playing this cooking shows, and then a lot of them just I think it was
and
they just start up the show and then they just leave, and it's like, what are you guys doing? And we could literally do the same with AFK Arena. We just have the game play and then we just leave the stream. I would never do that, guys. But seriously, it's what a
how stupid are you? Watch something else. Yeah.
I can't believe this is going on.
Just because it's a famous streamer that's doing it, and they thought they could get away with it. That's the funniest part about it. But anyways, yeah, and you guys can find all my stuff just at Max Derrat. Links to that will be in the description box below. I'm going to go play some video games. Syb, have a good night. Good night to the rest of you. Until next week when we do this again, just remember to stay safe and, most importantly, stay yellow.